South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa is in the middle of a big political and economic battle, and it could affect the future of millions of South Africans. Right now, he is fighting hard to keep the country's trade partnership with the United States alive. Why? Because this partnership is worth billions of rands, and without it, jobs could be lost, businesses could struggle, and South Africa's economy could take a serious hit. This is not just politics, it's about the food on people's tables and the strength of the nation's future. For years, South Africa has been part of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, known as AGOA. This agreement gives South African products easy access to the huge American market without heavy tariffs. That means South Africa can sell things like cars, wine, fruit, and clothing to the United States and remain competitive. But here's the twist. Some lawmakers in the US have been questioning whether South Africa should keep this deal because of its political ties with other countries. And that's where President Ramaphosa steps in. He has been working around the clock, using diplomacy, meetings, and negotiations to convince American leaders that keeping South Africa in AGOA is the best decision for both countries. Think about it, the US also benefits. South Africa is one of the biggest and most advanced economies in Africa, and American businesses gain access to new markets, resources, and investment opportunities through this relationship. Ramaphosa is basically saying, hey, this is not a one-way street. We both win if this partnership continues. But it's not just about politics and business deals. It's about people. Over 60,000 South African jobs depend directly on AGOA exports. That's families, communities, and livelihoods on the line. Losing AGOA could make unemployment worse in a country that's already facing economic struggles. Imagine thousands of workers in factories, farms, and industries suddenly finding out they have no job because the deal collapsed. That's why Ramaphosa is pushing so hard. He knows the stakes are incredibly high. Of course, critics say South Africa has been walking a tricky line in global politics, sometimes cozying up to countries that don't always see eye to eye with Washington. And that's making the US suspicious. But Ramaphosa's message is clear. South Africa is committed to its relationship with the US while also being free to build ties with other nations. He's presenting South Africa as a bridge between worlds, a country that can bring nations together instead of tearing them apart. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Ramaphosa is not just fighting for South Africa, he's fighting for Africa as a whole. If South Africa loses its place in AGOA, it could set a dangerous example for other African countries. That's why he is positioning South Africa as the gateway to Africa, urging the US not to pull back from the continent at a time when global competition is heating up. It's a bold move, but also a necessary one if Africa wants to keep growing on the world stage. So, will Ramaphosa succeed? That's the big question. On one hand, US lawmakers have been critical, but on the other, many American companies and policymakers see the value of keeping South Africa close. It's a tug-of-war, and the outcome could reshape the future of South Africa's economy for decades. And let's be real, this story is not just about boring trade policies or politics. It's about drama, survival, and the fight to keep hope alive for thousands of workers. It's about whether one leader can stand tall in the middle of global pressure and protect his people's future. Ramaphosa knows what's at stake, and he's not backing down without a fight. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, then make sure you smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We bring you stories that matter, explained in a way that makes sense. So if you want more updates on global politics, African stories, and the behind-the-scenes moves shaping our world, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.